Suppose I was standing before you in 2014 and I told you that, you know what, we have just elected a Prime Minister whose administration and governance would see that this country, India, is in a position to regularly feed a population the entire size of Europe and North America, which is able to give free health care to more people than who live in Europe, which is able to give houses to people larger than the population of Japan, which is able to free women from firewood in their kitchens and give them gas cylinders, which is more than the population of Germany, which will give loans to people, small people who would normally never get those loans from banks, to allow them to stand on their own feet, and this would be larger than the population of South Africa. I think you people would not have believed me. And yet, that is exactly what has happened in the last 10 years. Now, as a foreign minister, this is a subject to which I keep coming back to. I keep coming back to because there is huge interest in the world. And you would all see this in Australia. That I am sure in the last 10 years, if each one of you thinks about your workplace, your friends, your social circle, you would see in that a very different level of interest about what is happening in India. So, I get asked this question. So tell us very briefly, well, give us some sense of what has happened. I had this conversation recently, just last week, with some very senior British politicians who were visiting. Or a few days before that, on 26 January, I was with President Macron of France as the minister who was traveling with him. So I had to think, how do I give them some data point which is immediately like bingo, they get it. So I said, just think about it, last 10 years. In these 10 years, we have built 8 new airports every year. Okay, so people start thinking. We have every 2 years, 3 cities have got metros. Every day, 30 kilometers of national highways are being built. And for the last 10 years, every day, I repeat, every day, 2 new colleges are being opened. So, when you tell people, and then I told them what I told you before, that a country which is today in a position to provide nutrition to 2/3 of its population, which provides health care, because these are problems everybody in the world has. The most developed country in the world has people who are left behind and who struggle really to make sure that at the end of the day they don't go to sleep with empty stomachs. So if we in India, and all of you know the challenges which India has been through, that if we in India are able to solve the problems of hunger, solve the problem of health, our expectation is, just as we speak, every house has electricity connection. Every house has piped water. When you think about piped water, it is not just water that you get. There are huge health consequences, health benefits to getting piped water. So if you look at the enormity of this change, it is today really a country that has much to be proud of, much to be thankful for, but whose expectations and aspirations are growing, that today people feel if we can do so much, there is that much more ahead of us. And that is why, after a 10-year foundation today, we are talking of 25 years of Ambedkar. that we believe that the next 25 years will profoundly transform India, and by 2047 it would be realistic for India to aim to be a developed country.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.